ever watched Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom? If you have, there's a chance you missed some really strange details hidden in the show. Some of these moments are creepy, some are confusing, and a few even have surprising connections to Peppa Pig. Today, I'm going to talk about the creepiest and weirdest things I found in Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom that you probably never noticed before. Let's get into it. Before we even get into the creepy stuff, we need to talk about something a lot of people don't realize. Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom and Peppa Pig are actually connected in a pretty surprising way, not in a fan theory way at first, in a real production way. Both shows were created by the same team, Neville Astley and Mark Baker, under Astley Baker Davies. Because of that, the two shows share a lot of similarities, including animation style, humor, and even voice actors. For example, Miss Rabbit and Nanny Plum are voiced by the same person. Grandpa Pig and the Wise Old Elf are voiced by the same person. Several smaller characters also share voice actors between both shows, but it doesn't stop there. There are also hidden references and Easter eggs between the two shows. In Peppa Pig, you can sometimes spot drawings, posters, or costumes related to Ben and Holly characters. In Ben and Holly, there are references back to Peppa Pig too, like toys, visual jokes, and background details. Some people think this is just the creators having fun, but others believe it hints that both shows exist in the same universe. Either way, once you notice how often they reference each other, it is hard to unsee it. Now, let us talk about Daisy and Poppy. At first, they just look like cute royal toddlers, but the more you think about them, the more they become kind of terrifying. These two have access to magic and they use it constantly, usually without understanding the consequences. They can accidentally cause chaos anywhere they go, and the worst part is that no one can really stop them. They break things, transform objects, and mess with adults like it is completely normal. And while all of this is happening, they usually just stare with completely blank expressions like nothing is wrong. Bruh. Imagine living in a kingdom where two toddlers have unlimited magical powers and nobody is able to control them. That alone makes the little kingdom feel a little off. Now, this is where things start to feel the strangest in the entire show. The wise old elf seems like just a strict and grumpy character who hates magic and prefers doing things the elf way. However, when you look deeper into his background, his history becomes a lot more mysterious. We know that when he was younger, he actually used to love magic. He had red hair, a red beard, and looked completely different from how he looks now. After an incident involving monkey kittens, he stopped using magic completely and dedicated his life to doing things the elf way instead. But what makes this even more interesting is how long he has actually been around. The wise old elf has been alive for an extremely long time and has references in the show that suggest he remembers events from hundreds of years ago. For example, he once mentioned creating a clown toy that belonged to Queen Marigold, and that toy was already around 200 years old. If he made it himself, that would mean he is even older than the toy. On top of that, he has an older twin brother, which makes the timeline of his life even more confusing. He also has an extremely long history of jobs, inventions, and responsibilities across the Little Kingdom, which makes him feel like he has been part of everything for centuries. When you put all of this together, it becomes really hard to understand how old he actually is, because elves and fairies in this world do not seem to age like humans. The more you think about it, the stranger it gets. One thing that makes Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom feel different from other preschool cartoons is the way the world works. The Little Kingdom exists hidden among normal human objects, but the characters often treat everyday things as mysterious or dangerous artifacts. Things like lawnmowers, toys, and other human items are sometimes viewed as giant objects from another world. As a kid, this just seems funny, but when you get older, it can make the world feel surprisingly mysterious. The show also never explains everything. There are questions about how fairy magic works, how old some of the characters are, and how the little kingdom has existed for so long without humans discovering it. None of these things are necessarily creepy on their own, but together they create a strange feeling that makes the world more interesting than a typical preschool cartoon. After looking at everything in this video, I honestly think Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom is a lot weirder than people remember. I am not saying it is secretly a horror show, and I am not saying every fan theory is true. However, there are definitely details that become more noticeable when you watch the show again years later. As a kid, I never really thought about the Peppa Pig connections, the strange rules of the Little Kingdom, or how old some of these characters might actually be. I just watched the show and enjoyed it. Looking back now though, I can see why some people find parts of it creepy or mysterious. The show leaves a lot of questions unanswered, and that is probably one of the reasons people still talk about it today. Even though I think some theories go way too far, I still find it fun to look at these details and think about them. At the end of the day, Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom is still one of my childhood cartoons, but it is definitely stranger than I remembered. Let me know what you think. Did I miss any creepy details? And do you think Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom is actually creepy? Or am I just overthinking it? Anyway, that's it for today's video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, tell me one thing you liked about this video in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.